My name is not Jussie Smollett. I am delighted to be with you. As I think some of you may know, this is a reschedule. I was scheduled to be with you previously. I had a bad bout of laryngitis, probably because in those days I talked too much, so we had to reschedule. So I'm delighted to be able to make this up, and I'm obviously very honored by this turnout. Thank God for Donald J. Trump. There are times in history when the right person comes along at exactly the right time. We had reached a point in 2016 where the two parties working together had given us endless foreign war where our inherent national interests were not clear. The erosion of our civil liberties, using our intelligence agencies to collect metadata on American citizens. Immigration policies that left our streets and neighborhoods unsafe and that cheated the people who were waiting in line to come here legally for the promise of America. Trade policies that embrace these multi-international trade agreements, kind of one size fits all, like NAFTA, which literally sucked the jobs and opportunity out of America. And a flat economy where kids who graduated from college were forced to move back in with their parents because there were no jobs, where taxes were strangling us, and where there was no opportunity. Now, I go back to an interview that Donald Trump gave, has to be more than 20 years ago, with Oprah Winfrey, where she said, "What about you, Donald? Would you ever run for public office? Would you ever run for president?" And he said, "No, I don't think so. Unless things get so bad that I have no choice." That's where we are today. Some men ran for president to be someone. George Bush comes to mind. Donald Trump ran for president to do something, and that is making America great again. No president has had the implacable opposition of the two-party duopoly in Washington and the elites who like things just the way they are. And we see it manifested in the tsunami of fake news constantly attacking this president, his family, his administration, and his accomplishments. It is really extraordinary because 2016 was the year in which the mainstream media monopoly, the stranglehold on political coverage and the political narrative and the political news in America was broken by a vibrant and robust alternative media based in the internet. And now, the greatest single danger to the Trump revolution, indeed the danger to the Trump agenda, the Trump re-election, and the Trump legacy, is a systematic campaign of censorship on the internet. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google, they are colluding to limit the voices of conservatives and Republicans and Trump supporters and non-liberals. I was in the hearing sitting next to my friend Alex Jones when I saw the testimony of the Google chairman and House Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler, I was waiting for that, said that the idea of censorship of conservatives on the internet was a right-wing conspiracy theory. No, Congressman, it isn't. We have the internal documents, we have the internal videos from Google to show us that it is a systematic effort to eliminate the voices who work as an amplifier for one of the greatest presidents in my lifetime. And it is exceedingly dangerous as we go into 2020 to not recognize this danger. There are two storm clouds on the horizon for the president's reelection. We have a strong economy, and it's only going to get stronger. We have a president who is committed to fighting the entrenched interests in Washington to seal our southern border and secure America's safety. But we must have two things to ensure that this president is reelected. One is an unfettered, free access to the internet. Now, I can tell you as a political consultant and someone who, as a strategist, has elected dozens of Republicans and conservatives to public office, that prior to the formation of Facebook and the rise of the internet, a man or a woman could not run for Congress in most of the districts in the United States unless they had access to literally millions of dollars. That's because the most efficient mode of communications was broadcast television or broadcast radio, which in most major markets in America is prohibitively expensive. Facebook changed that in that it allowed us to geo-target with precision through paid advertising precisely those voters we needed to reach without reaching the voters around them that we had no need to reach. In 2018, Facebook systematically limited the Republican candidates' use of that tool while letting the Democrats use it unfettered. You wonder who was asleep at the National Republican Congressional Committee and why they filed no legal action, because this is a violation of the federal election law. Now let me talk to you about my own situation. As I think most of you know, due to a court order, I am limited now in what I can say. Roger Stone, who can't talk, is like Usain Bolt that can't run. It is frustrating night after night to watch the torrent, the tsunami, the flood of fake news in which CNN and MSNBC and the others recycle lies about me, knowing that I do not currently have the voice to respond. Recycling falsehoods again and again. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't get my news from CNN for the same reason I don't eat out of the toilet. So here's what I can tell you. I am facing 7 charges of lying to Congress and related charges. I have pled not guilty. Under enormous personal, financial, and legal pressure, I will not change my plea. I will go to trial this November. I really will fight for vindication because I know the truth. It's exactly right. But it is an enormously difficult experience. I have lost my home. I have lost most of my insurance. I have lost my savings. I have lost my ability to make a living because I make a living by reading and speaking. And of course, the things that people want to read and speak to me about, I'm unable to talk about these days. The cost of an aggressive legal defense is somewhere around $2 million. Obviously, if I could pay that expense myself, I would, but I am unable to do so, which is why I need your help. You can go to stonedefensefund.com, stonedefensefund.com, put it in your cell phone right now, stonedefensefund.com. You can contribute through PayPal. You can contribute by credit card. You can do a system where you contribute a certain amount every month on an automatic basis. And if you don't like putting your financial information on the internet, many people don't, there's a place there, which happens to be right here in Tampa because I use a local accountant, where you can mail a check. I need your help as never before. Now, I want to tell you a story about this. This is a Roger Stone. This is a Stone, which I originally stole from one of my neighbor's driveways, but I, of course, replaced it. And I signed my name, and this is I sell this as a paperweight. It was kind of like a running joke, a gag. And they weren't selling very well until Talking Points Memo and Rolling Stone and New York Magazine, the Huffington Post mocked me for selling them. Now I can tell you, I've sold over 15,000 Roger Stones. And you can get yours in two places. You can go to stonecoldtruth.com, go to the shop, they're available there. I'm going to be signing and selling stones back in that corner after the program here. You can come by there. We have a limited number of them with us because I can only carry so many stones. But that is one way you can help. Also, as some of you may have seen, when 29 heavily armed FBI agents stormed my home in the pre-dawn hours to arrest me, I was wearing a t-shirt that said, Roger Stone did nothing wrong. There is an example. These can be purchased at 1776.shop. We also have a limited number of them with us tonight in all sizes, back in the right corner. And the proceeds, after costs, which are minimal, go again to my legal defense fund. It is true, I'm sure many of you have heard it, that I have a tattoo of Richard Nixon on my back.
Show me.
It's about the size of a grapefruit. It's between my shoulder blades, which means I'm the only person you know with a dick on the front and the back. And it is really not a political statement. For me, it is a daily reminder that in life, when things don't go your way, when you are defeated, when you are knocked down, when you struggle and strive for something that you want to achieve and you fall short again and again, you don't get discouraged, you don't get disappointed, you get back in the game. See, the story of Nixon is a story of resilience. It's a story of persistence. One cannot appreciate the majesty of the highest mountain unless one has been in the lowest valley. It is Nixon who said, a man is not finished when he is defeated. He is only finished when he quits. Ladies and gentlemen, I will not quit. Now, some of you may know that we were forced to move from the house you no doubt saw on CNN at the time of my arrest to a one-bedroom unit at an undisclosed location in South Florida, not far from where we lived before in Fort Lauderdale. One of the reasons that I had to do this was twofold. It was a question of security. They had identified where I lived, and there were all kinds of nuts ringing my doorbell day and night. Some of them well-meaning, some of them good people bringing checks, bringing food, bringing advice, bringing their prayers, and God bless them. But others menacing and negative and dangerous. But what really got me was when the tour bus pulled up in front. This is the home of Roger Stone. It got old. And we had to move to much smaller quarters because we have had to tighten our belts. On the last bout, I should also say, we couldn't afford a moving company, so my wife and I and a hearty band of friends and supporters did the move ourselves. We had to rent a U-Haul truck, and over about a week's time, we had to box everything up, move the big pieces, put most of it in storage because our new place is very small. And on the final day, in a freak accident, the truck either wasn't in gear or slipped out of gear, and it literally rolled over and hit my wife and broke her ankle. So she would be with me tonight, but she is unable to travel. She wanted me to tell you, thank you for your support. Thank you for your blessings. She, more than anyone else, has said to me, you are not pleading guilty to something you did not do, and has really given me the courage to fight for vindication. I believe this president can be reelected, but my greatest concern is overconfidence among his supporters. We've talked about the impact of internet censorship, and if the president does not order his Justice Department to take antitrust action against Google and Facebook and Twitter and the others, that will imperil his election. But the other thing, we've seen this in Florida more than any place in the country, is we need an honest count. We need an election in which only people who are legally eligible vote. There is nothing discriminatory or racist about requiring a photo ID to be allowed to vote. You need a photo ID to get on an airplane. You need a photo ID to buy a pack of cigarettes. There is no reason in the world why they should not require a photo ID to vote. Let me tell you a story one of my neighbors told me. Right there in Broward County, where Brenda Snipes was counting the votes. He showed up to vote, and he said, John Smith. And he gave his address, and the nice lady at the table said, well, Mr. Smith, you already voted this morning. I said, no, I didn't. She said, well, there's another person registered at your home, Myrtle Smith. She also voted this morning. He said, that's my mother. She's been dead for 2 years. No, our system in Florida is too porous. Now, I think Governor DeSantis is doing a great job. I salute him for abandoning the antiquated and discriminatory beliefs of Rick Scott when it comes to the use of medicinal marijuana, which, ladies and gentlemen, is superior to opioids any day of the week. The number of veterans that I know who are using it to treat PTSD, the number of people that who are depending on this medicine, I salute Governor DeSantis for a bold decision to work with the Republicans and the Democrats to make the access to medicinal marijuana available to the people of Florida. This is a great accomplishment. Secondarily, when you find out that they've been stealing in the state highway system, they've been stealing through the tolls, giving the people of Florida free access through June, and suspending the tolls is an act of leadership and courage. So, I think the president will get reelected. I think he can get reelected, but he needs to be cautious about getting an honest count. I don't believe we really lost the House in 2018. I believe voter fraud cost us the House. I think censorship on the internet cost us the House. But let me tell you what I know about Donald Trump, because I have known him for 40 years. I first recognized that he had the size, I don't mean the physical size, but the stature, the boldness, the courage, the audacity to be a great president in 1988. I wanted him to run again in 2000. Then I wanted him to run again in 2012. But I now recognize that had he run, the time was not right, the country and the time wasn't perfect. 2016 was the time when the American people were ready to change a tradition in which our presidents had always been governors or senators or generals, and turn to somebody from outside of politics. Donald Trump has lost money being president. Donald Trump didn't run for president to get a bigger house. He had a bigger house. He didn't run for president to get a better airplane. He had a better airplane. He didn't run for president to become well known. He was the best known businessman on the face of the planet. Donald Trump is contributing his salary back to the taxpayers. He's not doing this for himself, ladies and gentlemen. He is doing it for us. He is doing it for America. So, James, I thank you for your kind invitation and the ability to reschedule this. I thank you, so many of you, for coming out tonight. I ask you to stop by the table in the back, buy a stone, get one of my books, Stone's Rules, or To Make You the President 2016. We have a limited number with us. Get one of your iconic Roger Stone Did Nothing t-shirts. And if you can, we take cash contributions. We also have a square back there for a credit card. Make a contribution to StoneDefenseFund.com. I will fight, but I need you to have my back. Thank you, and God bless you.
Okay, guys, here's what's going to happen. Is Arvid Cowell here? Yes. Arvid, if you're here, raise your hand. No? Okay. Penny, if you could come up and talk to Andrew, I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Okay, what we're going to do, Roger's going to go back into the corner back here and